All right, let's bring in an expert on this, violence monitors Mary de Haas, to unpack what has led to all this damage and carnage. Hello to you, Mary. Always a pleasure. And I understand that violence in the taxi industry, according to the research I've got, is accounting for more than half of targeted killings in South Africa. This is not just about routes, is it?
Oh, look, it's about routes largely, or certainly in KZN. I can't speak for the Gauteng area apart from the fact that our long-distance taxis obviously go all over the country, and, they may be part of the problem in other parts of the province, but in other parts of the country, rather. But certainly a lot of it's about routes. Taxi associations coming in. I mean, this is what I've been seeing in the last year or so in this province and before that, that taxi associations come in and try and take over routes. And that goes back to the bad policing of the taxi industry, obviously, and alleged corruption sometimes in the actual provincial offices that have to do the regulation of the taxis.
And it's interesting you say that, because I was about to ask you, Mary, about there is this perception that the taxi industry seems to be a bit of a law unto their own. Every time the police try and intervene, it either turns into a fight or a legal battle as well. And that is where I think a lot of the concern is coming in about this violence. It seems to be quite sporadic, and no one really seems to be able to do anything about it. It only ends, doesn't it, Mary, when the taxi associations decide to call for peace?
Look, I mean, there's a big problem. It goes right back. It's the failure of the government to regulate the taxi industry properly. And the reason for that is there's too many political connections with taxis, even there's fronts for police who own taxis. But the problem with political links with taxis goes right back. Especially after 1994. I mean, look, there were taxi mafias before 1994, but I'm using 1994 because we have a new government then, and I mean, in this province we had a commission into taxi violence around about 2000, and nothing happened. I don't think we even saw the report of the commission. This is the way it happens with commissions. They have them and nothing happens. But I know, because I've dealt with quite a few taxi people, I mean, right now, when I say right now, this last week too, the taxis are trying to take over bus routes in a peri-urban area around Durban, and they're blocking buses. And in that particular area, it's in Witwatersrand. Now, this is the area the Premier of the province comes from, and he doesn't seem to be interested or able to do anything about it. Now, before that, a month or two back, there was a taxi association from Ananda, which is not very far away from that, but Ananda is an urban area, which was trying to take over the taxi association in Ndwedwe itself. End result was the bus owner who operates the buses from Verulam, Tongaat into Ndwedwe was shot dead last week. So this is the type of crime that these taxi people get away with, and it's a combination of politicians failing to do something about it. I mean, we have in this province, as you do, we have a provincial transport department which is linked to the provincial MEC for peace. They're doing nothing about it.
Why is that, do you think? Is it, are they scared? Is there money being exchanged? If you had to give me your opinion on that, why is that, do you think? Last question to you, Mary.
Look, we know, for example, that some of the police take kickbacks from taxis. That's what a lot of the killings involving 10 years ago involving organized crime, the alleged police taking kickbacks. But the fact that politicians are doing nothing about it, these taxi associations have a lot of political interest. You must remember that the most powerful, long distance, perhaps the most powerful in the country, is a very close relationship with former President Zuma, for example. So there are all those sorts of connections, and there seems to be a lack of political will to deal with it, like so much else that's going wrong, so much other violence in this country.
Is there any indication, the kind of research that you do, any of the reading up that you do, that could suggest some sort of solution to this kind of situation? Mary, and I will make this my last question. I just love chatting to you about this, so this will be my last question. Any solution do you think is plausible?
Yes, of course there is. It's just the political will that's lacking to make sure that there's no fraud in giving licenses to people to operate on routes, to making sure people stick to their routes. Proper traffic. In this province, we don't even have enough traffic police around. We're short of it because it's so mismanaged. So it's about policing, it's about implementing the law. It's like everything else here.
It's about implementation, as always, isn't it? It's not the laws are there. It's about the implementation. Mary de Haas, always a pleasure. Violence Monitor joining us out of KZN this morning.